What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I would like to draw your attention to Dr. Boyce Watkins. For many of you who know him, he is a financial expert, if you will. He's a former professor of prestigious universities like Syracuse University, University of Munich as an adjunct professor. So you will never hear me discredit his education. Dr. Boyce Watkins is definitely an intellectual man, all right? However, the majority of his, I would say, wealth or money, I would assume, has been probably accumulated more or less on the social media and the African-American sectors of social media. And he has several channels, one of them which is the Real Boyce Watkins or the Boyce Watkins YouTube channel, and also operates a fairly large audience on Facebook and on his Instagram profile. And he has decided to weigh in on the Fresh and Fit controversy. He reposted their clip of them saying that, they don't deal with the Shaniquas, they don't deal with the brown, they don't deal with, a lot of the ghetto stereotypes of African-American women. They will only date with the red bones. And Dr. Boyce Watkins says only a complete clown would say this, which is true. You would get no argument from me. I've made statements that are clownish. I wish I can take back in my life. And I'm not defending Fresh and Fit. But as you get older, you can at least atone for those things in your personal life. You can apologize for those things, especially when you say them about your own people. Even though Fresh and Fit, they're not African American. But I understand what he's saying. What they said was wrong, and they should apologize for that. However, if you look at guys like Fresh and Fit or guys who don't date black women, they're not the ones that do the most damage to them. Guys who don't date black women, whether they're vocal about it or non-vocal about it, they don't bother them. They stay far away from them. The only time they'll deal with them is if they have to. Work environment, something like that, shopping at a store. They're not the ones that cause problems to the black community with black women. The panderers to black women are the ones who use black women, who come as a wolf in sheep's clothing. Those are the people that damage African-American women. We could talk about the black church, for an example. Catering the service and pandering to black women, which leads them to believe that somebody will give them a man. There's no accountability in that behavior, and this keeps black women more single, more unhappy, okay? Or you see these same guys who say one thing and do another. And I'd like to, more or less, for guys like Umar Johnson and Boyce Watkins, they really defend black women so much, but they're the kind of guys that say one thing and do another. And we can look at how Boyce Watkins has treated certain black women just here on YouTube. We could talk about Paris Milan, the popular YouTuber who says that Boyce Watkins didn't even want to pay her. Remember Michi X, who also talked about how Boyce Watkins stole all of her information, as far as, I'm not saying she stole her personal information, but her branding. He bought all the trademarks for her name, everything, didn't want to give it back to her without her knowing it. There's also another lady that was working for Boyce Watkins, and then he didn't even want to pay her. You see, these are the people who are really hurting black women. And it's not really Fresh and Fit. Yeah, Fresh and Fit, they made an outrageous comment, and they're wrong for that. And you guys know I don't even like Fresh and Fit. But if you really want to know the true culprits who bring black women down, it's the Boyce Watkins of the world. It's the Dr. Umar Johnsons of the world. It's some elements of the conscious community, okay? These guys that just spew anything, certain lies, to tell black women what they want to hear while they're selling them products, while they're stealing from them, keeping black women in a mindset that they don't have to do anything, that things are just deserved to them. If they're single moms, this is going to happen for you. They don't warn them of the actual things that's going to happen to them, which leads them to, some of them at least, many of them, unfulfilled, healthy relationships with black men or in the black community, okay? Downing black men all the time. And some of you guys get mad at me for wanting to hold African-American men responsible for what you do. I make mistakes all the time. I have to atone for the mistakes that I make. I am not above the law, just like you, all right? But the reality is people like Boyce Watkins keep the black community behind, okay? celebrating this whole element of single moms. We're the only community in America that has all these single mom births and trying to catch up to these other people. Because you talk about generational wealth and all this stuff. I mean, this guy talks out of his mouth. You want to talk about generational wealth, and there's no plan for marriage. There's no plan for the man being there. There's no male leadership. But you're always telling these women about all this other stuff. And you guys know how Boyce Watkins is when it comes to, he panders his platforms to them so he can sell them stuff. But then Boyce Watkins, you want to be outraged at what Fresh and Fit say. I mean, if you think about what they said, we'll look at you. They like red bones, right? They admit it. Who are you? What color is Alicia Watkins? We could put up a post of Boyce Watkins and Dr. Alicia Watkins. And what's the preference? The preference is that we see is that Dr. Boyce Watkins has the same preference that Fresh and Fit have, a red bone. We don't want to date Shaniquas. What does that mean? We don't want to date chicks who are ghetto. What is Dr. Alicia Watkins? She's a PhD. So really what they're saying and what Boyce Watkins live is the same thing. It's just that he doesn't say it. What makes it worse is that Boyce Watkins actually profits from black women. Fresh and Fit don't. All right? And it's about time that the black community in Black America holds a mirror to its face. Not just the men, but the women have to hold a mirror to its face and look at all the other successful communities and how they get along and how they get around. And then when you have guys like Boyce Watkins who actually understand what it takes to have successful communities, and he teaches against that. He empowers the dysfunction of the black community while trying to hold the men accountable and not hold nobody else accountable. That's not helping African American women. We look at the community that are doing very well in America. The Jewish community, the Indian community, the Nigerian American community. Two-parent households. Every neighborhood in America that anybody wants to live next to or live in, there are neighborhoods that are educated and have two families or have a mother and a father there. They're the safest. They have the most resources. But guys like Umar Johnson and Boyce Watkins, they don't teach that. It's whatever to get the queens to buy. And you can't operate systems like that in Black America over the last 50 years and expect to have something different. Only an idiot does the same thing, expecting something different. But if you want to hold the feet to the fire of guys like Fresh and Fit for their one comment, what about the years of repetitive BS that Dr. Umar Johnson, black pastors, and Dr. Boyce Watkins do on a daily to keep the black community behind? See, guys don't want to talk about that. We cannot afford to let them off the hook. They are the problems in our community. People like them are the problems. And black women themselves have to stop being duped by such people. Because Fresh and Fit said, I'm not going to deal with you. That's fine. I don't like y'all. I'm not going to deal with you. Okay, it was harsh. Don't get me wrong. It's stupid, and that's definitely unacceptable. But these guys, what they're doing is worse. It's much worse. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. Check out the first comment at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains an all-time high.